All right. So what do you say we get into the top 5 stocks that we're watching this week? How are you feeling about that?
I mean, listen, I think I'm surprised it's taking so long for you to get into it because I'm worried you're going to miss the Ravens game. I thought you'd be
man.
fucking chop.
Listen, hard stop at 8:30 today. Hard stop at 8:30. Yeah, we got Ravens and Patriots. I'm super pumped for it. I think
All right, so I'll keep my comments short. And we'll get to as much Q&A as we can, but yeah, let's roll.
Sounds good. So the top 5 stocks that we are watching this week has everything to do with earnings yet again as we wrap up earnings season. And the first one that I want to go over this week is Palo Alto. Now, we talk about CrowdStrike a lot within our community, and that's kind of one of our favorites as it relates to cybersecurity, but Palo Alto's right there with them as well. And it kind of doesn't get the same kind of love as CrowdStrike does, but the company expects year-over-year revenue growth of 19 to 20%, from $915 to $925 million. Their estimated earnings per share at $1.33. This is something that I think is going to continue to grow. With Palo Alto and cybersecurity, we just got done talking to you guys about remote work and how that's going to continue to grow. Well, if you're going to be doing a lot more over the internet airwaves, if you will, you're going to need beefed up cybersecurity. And that's where Palo Alto really comes into play. And so if you're starting to see more and more demand for remote work, you're going to see more and more demand for Palo Alto. I think we're going to see a considerable growth here. Their CEO has been very optimistic on their outlooks. I'm looking forward to seeing if they even raise their outlooks this quarter, maybe going into 2021 as well. Estimated earnings per share at $1.33. I think they come in at $1.45. Last quarter, they came in at $1.48, so I think that they could even come up even higher than that, but I like Palo Alto a lot. I think they come in and crush it tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I agree that I think they beat. I have them at $1.42. What I like about Palo Alto, it might not be the sexiest name, it might not be grabbing the headlines, but they're not afraid to spend money. They have cash on hand. They actually didn't have... I expect them to show more cash on hand this time around. So I think cash flow is going to be really good, but they're not afraid to grow their business. And any of these type of companies, these cyber security or cloud companies, now's the time to strike while the iron's hot. So I like how they're active. I like what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think this is a sleeper, but I do really like it. And I'm looking forward to seeing the results. So $1.42.
I like that guess. I think that down here at 221 where it bounced, that is a solid support for it. So if by some chance we see tomorrow that the investors or the market either does some profit taking because of the huge run up we've seen over the last couple of weeks, or maybe the earnings don't come out quite as favorably as they were expected to be, look for maybe to grab this up at 217, because I would be really surprised to see if this doesn't come back down here. What did I say? 217? No, I'm sorry. 218 is probably more reasonable area for support, but you can see here on the daily chart that it's held that really well. It's actually coming up on a resistance where it closed at on Friday at around 262. So we'll see if that continues tomorrow when earnings come out. What you got next for me, my man?
Yeah, so next we have on the list tall stick. That's what it means. Somebody asked if I knew what that means. Palo Alto is Spanish. Yeah. All right, so Walmart. So Walmart reports earnings Tuesday after hours. I believe it's after hours. It's a little questionable, but I'm going to say Tuesday after hours. Consensus is $1.18 a share. I predict $1.50 a share. I think this is a strong beat. Walmart doesn't typically blow it out of the water. They don't miss by much, and they don't really exceed expectations by much. So $1.50, I think, is pretty considerable as far as like a beat.
Yeah.
However, here's what I'm looking for. It's all about Walmart Plus. All about Walmart Plus. And so Walmart Plus is basically their answer to Prime. And I think it's a smart move for them. They were supposed to launch it back in February. It actually got launched September 1st. So you'll have the majority of the quarter, 2/3 of the quarter, that will show the numbers for Walmart Plus. Now, I don't care so much about the revenue now. I think that's a 2021 thing. What I care about are numbers. And we saw this with Disney Plus. Nobody gives a flying squirrel about the numbers, like about the parks. They're like all about the numbers and the growth, and it's high margin products. So I'm excited about that. They're saying, so I guess the community or the consumer base is like 140 million.
Yeah.
So they're saying a few percentage of that. So it could be 4 or 5 million. And by the end of next year, they're saying 10 million Walmart Plus. I think that is a very, very conservative number.
Yeah, I
think
do
that's
too.
an easily reached number. And those numbers are what's going to set this off to through 2021. And that could be, if they get to that 10 million mark, that is $12 billion.
Yeah.
So I think that's huge. I think this looks similar to Disney as far as how that looks. And if those numbers come out big time, watch out.
Yeah, man. I mean, and we've seen how Disney Plus has grown considerably, and Walmart is almost as well of a run company as I would say Disney is. Obviously, Disney has been impacted a little bit more negatively because of the Rona, but that's one thing that why I like Walmart so much, and why we've talked about Walmart being one of those ones that didn't just survive through the Rona, but actually thrived through it. And if we go and look at the chart here, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Is that, you know, when this when the market crashed, this thing barely budged. I would say that, you know, this has just been one of those super strong movers. And if we're seeing, you know, increased COVID cases like we have been, you know, Walmart has been poised. They've been able to pivot incredibly well from the e-commerce side of things to try to compete with Amazon. Everybody talks about how Amazon's going to take over the world, and yes, that's probably true, but Walmart's going to give them a nice run for their money. And I think with this Walmart Plus, it's going to be something really big for them, going to continue to do really, really well. I have them coming in, my estimated earnings per share is $1.58. The reason being is because, to your point, Fat Man Zoom, you know, they don't beat by a whole lot, but last time they beat by 25%. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that again this time around. It'd be interesting to see how we see an outlook from them, you know, as far as quarter four is concerned, especially with the holidays. We've talked about e-commerce and how we expect it to be monstrous and maybe even record setting because of people ordering gifts and that sort of thing for quarter four. So really interested to see what their outlook is going to be for this quarter.
Yeah. And also, a couple of stocks we didn't do, but just to give you a heads up, Target, if you're interested in Target, our sentiments are the same.
Yeah.
We would have set a B for Target. Target reports after hours on Wednesday. So just so you guys, if you're interested in that, we're very bullish on Target as well. What do we got for number 3?
Number 3 is Home Depot. And so, and really Home Depot, and to Fat Man Zoom's point, Home Depot and Lowe's are kind of in the same category too. So our sentiments are relatively the same on both of them. But for me, Home Depot, I think, is going to be another one that probably continues to crush it. We saw incredible numbers from Zillow. We saw incredible numbers from DHI or DR Horton. We saw really good numbers from Rocket. So why wouldn't Lowe's and Home Depot also reap those benefits as well? Home Depot, I think, is probably going to benefit a little bit more because it's more geared towards contractors and that sort of thing, whereas Lowe's, I think, is more about the do-it-yourselfer. But they're both going to do extremely well. They're coming in on Tuesday after hours, if I'm not mistaken, with expected earnings per share at 302. I think they come in at probably 385. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but they almost came to $4. They actually did. They actually cracked $4.02 last quarter. I think they could come even better than that, come closer to that. So that's why I had 385. And don't be surprised if we see it back up over $4 a share.
You've been taste testing that crack pie, haven't you?
I have been.
Haven't you? Hey, it beats. I actually have it slightly beating at 305. Now, I will say, I think that's easy.
Yeah.
But actually, I have no good reason other than I think they beat. I'm not really sure by how much because I think there was a huge rush in home improvement. I want to see how sales were as like the stimulus didn't come back. How did that affect people? So listen, they could very well blow it out. So I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if they hit that number. I would be extremely surprised if they missed. Lowe's reports on Wednesday. But I mean, here's the thing. They are, like you said, I mean, I can't really say much more. I mean, I have 2 words. Amen, sister, because home improvement has nowhere to go but up. It's just going to continue to go up.
Yeah.
And people are going to continue to buy homes, especially as that supply comes into play. People are continue to make upgrades to their house as they're stuck in their home.
Yep.
So I feel really good about Home Depot. I think they have a great business model, and I think they do really well. So yeah, Home Depot for the win.
Yeah, the main focus, I think, is going to be what they have to say for the housing market moving forward into 2021. We've talked about how Zillow sees just huge growth. And so if Zillow is seeing that, some of the other major home builders are seeing that. It only I think remains to be seen, or it only makes sense to if we hear them also kind of share in that sentiment. So hoping that we'll see that from Home Depot as well. What do you got for number 4, my man?
So we have Nvidia, the old Fat Man Zoom special. So Nvidia reports earnings on Wednesday after hours. Estimates are $2.56 a share. I have them coming in at $2.70 a share, and we love this company. I don't even know if we talk about it enough.
Yeah,
but we love this company. We love their leadership. Balance sheet looks great, and they're positioned in the gaming industry, amongst other things. That, I mean, they're best in class.
Yeah,
point blank. So
100%.
What'll be interesting for this earnings? So for this earnings, a couple things to consider. One is last earnings, data center revenue actually exceeded gaming revenue, which typically outpaces the gaming revenue does.
Yeah.
So the analysts are predicting that the gaming revenue gets back to outperforming. And so we should see a larger number as far as the gaming revenue is concerned. We should hear really good news about that. So that's number one. What's bigger? The ARM acquisition is going to be really important to hear something about it. And that was great news. And I don't think necessarily that this sets the stock off, but if they don't say anything about it, or if they give us negative news, I think this has the potential to hurt the stock. So it's a great acquisition. It makes a whole lot of sense. We like what they did, but there's regulation issues where a lot of people are saying pump the brakes, not so fast. I think it's going to go through, but any negative news or any lack of news, that's going to be is going to be problematic for the stock. However, that's a buying opportunity. In my opinion, this stock honestly is going to be at 600 sooner than later. That's my belief. And I think it's just positioned to continue to grow and to continue to outpace any of its competitors.
Yeah, it's so funny when people talk to us about companies that we feel so strongly about, especially with like Nvidia or Apple or Amazon, and they're like, well, what price makes sense for a good entry? And it's just like, right now. It doesn't even matter where the price is at this point, because we feel so strongly about stocks like Nvidia, and we feel as if they're just buy and holds forever, because you're really just going to continue to benefit from just holding on to this for the long haul, especially if you got time on your side. Nvidia is going to continue to do well. Interested to see if we hear any more as far as the autonomous driving side of things from Nvidia too. I'm really excited for that area of the market for them to kind of work their way into. Nvidia has been known so much for gaming, and it's cool to see how they've been branching out into other areas so that they may be more well known in some other parts of the market. I think that Nvidia is going to be an absolute steal. I have them coming in at 265, and I think that may be a little bit more than I should say. Maybe a little ambitious. I'll say that, but we'll see. I mean, last time around they beat expectations by 10%, which is why we saw this huge move last quarter. We'll see what happens this quarter, but I think they beat handily either way. And if they do look for this to break up above maybe even 572, if we see a strong enough move out of Nvidia, they have earnings on Wednesday. You said after hours. Yeah. So Wednesday after hours would be exciting to see what happens with them on Wednesday. We like Nvidia a lot. We think they beat. Finally, it's Workday. Workday is the last stock here that we have on the list, and people may or may not know what Workday is. This is something that we said was a buy last time around as far as earnings were concerned. We thought they were going to absolutely crush. And so the beginning of our top 5 stocks to watch this week had to do with Palo Alto and how it related to remote work. Workday is the same thing. So if you guys don't know what they are, Workday is essentially a online human resources platform software. So if you're looking to try to clock in, or maybe you need to request off work or whatever, well, you used to be able to do that in the office all the time, right? You just go to your boss, say, hey, I need this off or whatever. Well, Workday allows human resources and even managers to be able to kind of do schedules and meetings and all kinds of other stuff. And so they have becoming increasingly popular in demand and all that good stuff. They absolutely crushed earnings last time by about 30%, and they skyrocketed. They went from about I would say 217 all the way up to 248. And if I bring you back to the chart here, that was a huge gap. We knocked those earnings estimates out of the park last time around. I think they come in. Their estimated earnings per share is at 67 cents on Thursday after hours. I think they come in at $1.03. I think they break that century mark this time around because, like I said, we've been talking so much about whether there's a vaccine or not. Remote work is here to stay. Workday is going to be another one that just continues to roll here. We've talked about Salesforce and some of the other ones that are kind of in this space. And, Workday's right in there. I think a lot of people overlook this one, kind of one that people just don't really think about. But this is going to be a strong mover, I feel, when they come in for earnings on Thursday.
Yeah, I agree with your sentiments. I will keep this short and sweet. 89 cents share. They beat. We got a lot of questions to get to, so for all the same reasons, I feel good about that, and it'll be interesting to see. But I think they're gonna perform really well this earnings.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch, and this is going to round out our earnings season, guys. And so it'll be interesting to see how this goes. If you guys like this kind of list, if you want to be part of the Chaos Crew, make sure you're clicking the join button down below. We'd love to have you guys here. If you guys are just visiting our channel, we do this every Sunday, Stock Watch Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. We'd love to have you guys hang out more. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe as well and the notification bell.